Hello everyone, it's me, Isaac, or the Idiot Gamer. I am the owner of the Idiot Game server, which hosts survival and mini games. So today I'm going to be talking about what you can expect for this month and also throughout the whole year. I'm not going to be going into specifics from each month because some of that is I don't even know yet and some of it's private. But I will tell you as much as I have allowed myself to tell you this day. So, this video doesn't really have a script. I'm kind of recording in one take, but I might do a bit of editing later for text and stuff, but it's really unscripted. But I have a set of bullet points I need to go over. Anyway, enough talking, let's just go right into it. So, the lobby is receiving a little bit of an update. Nothing really is changing besides the quick PvP room with the boxing arena is actually getting removed, and it's actually going to be replaced with a new quick PvP option, which actually is there's kind of like a snowy hill. You'll see it on screen now. There's a snowy hill. When you stand on the top of it, you'll actually be placed on another team which has PvP enabled, and then you will be able to PvP with people on that team. So or who are also there. And when you leave, you'll be placed back on the gray no PvP team, so you'll be good. You won't, as for right now, you won't be able to kill people on it because everyone will just keep leaving for health anyway. So, but you'll be able to slap each other around on there and just have fun while we're waiting. So yeah, it's actually in the main arena in the winter area instead of being a separate teleport, which some people didn't even know about. So now it's there. Also, this portal for survival has actually been moved. It used to be part of the other category, which might also be changed, but now it is actually its own portal. It's where the info used to be, so on the left of PvP, between the fall and winter areas. I wasn't really putting. I had nothing in the info area, so I didn't think I'd ever use it. So I decided to just put survival in there. So yeah, also, you might notice how the portals now take up all of kind of like the doors instead of being mini portals inside. That is actually because I'm introducing kind of like gates. So when you go into like the PvP one, you'll find that all the games are there with all the descriptions and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm also adding new lobbies for each game, like the one you see right now for Tunnel Block. So each game will have its own kind of mini lobby with some parkour in it and some stuff to play areas just mess around. No PvP or anything, but just some areas just mess around while we're waiting for the game to start. I'm also going to be changing the way minigames work exactly, so instead of having to manually teleport everyone in, for example, if you're in anytime you're in the world, you'll be taken into the game, but if you like well, you'll see how it works later, but I can't really explain it in words right now. Um, okay, now I wanted to talk about a couple other games. We'll come back to Tunnel Block later. So, first I wanted to talk about Counter Push. So, Counter Push is right now it's in early development. Um, I've got most of the kits working actually, but there are a couple issues with the world right now. The server doesn't seem to like handling all the redstone that I had to use for the kits. I have an idea in mind for making it a lot less, which would make, if you know redstone, you'll know, or you know command blocks. What I'm doing is I'm making it so like all the command blocks are not always active. They always require redstone to be activated, with a couple of exceptions. But I'm gonna try to make it so like there's no commands running unless they need to be running, because there was a lot of commands that I actually realized I don't need to have these commands running if well, I can't really say why because that would give some stuff away, but someday you might understand why or how I was able to compress the redstone, and I could probably explain it at a later date, but I can't really explain it without giving away a big detail that I don't think I've not allowed myself to say. Castle Crusaders. Oh wait, sorry. Before we talk about that, Counter Push, there will probably be a beta. It won't be this month. It might be early March, maybe late March, maybe April at the latest, but sometime in late third quarter or sometime, let's just say around spring, around the start of spring, so maybe give or take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe. Yeah, sometime around there, there will be a Counterpush beta. So yeah, we'll be testing it out again. It will be similar, I guess, but there are a lot of things that I've actually, since my knowledge of Redstone has actually improved. It's always been improving. Like, I know how to do a lot of things I didn't actually know about before. So I've actually able to. I believe I will be able to make Counterpush not too big. But yeah, I've already written up all the rule sets for the modes and stuff. So, or at least I've written most of them up. So yeah, Counterpush will be available soon. Castle Crusaders, probably won't see this game until the summer. Maybe like late spring if we're lucky. But Counterpush is, or sorry, Castle Crusaders is actually kind of, it's not a low priority. I want to get the game out, but I don't want to be focusing on too many projects at one time. So Counterpush will come first, and then we will have Castle Crusaders come out soon, which will be maybe the summer. If it takes too long, maybe it will take longer than that, but I I kind of have like a plan in my head, and my plan says that Castle Crusaders should be available maybe by July or June. But yeah, it's gonna be a long time, and I know some of you guys might be excited for it, but there are also a lot of changes I've made not only to the Redstone, but also to the game itself. Like, I can't really say anything, but I've decided that the game is gonna be, it's not gonna be a lot different, but it's still the same idea of complete objectives, then go kill the king, or if you're defending, of course, prevent all that from happening. Like, it's still the same game with the same style, same fundamentals, but it's a lot different how it's gonna work and actually play out. But the fundamentals are still gonna be the same, so you're still gonna be attacking a castle or defending it, depending on what team you're on, of course. All right, now I want to talk about laser tag. So laser tag, um, which you might have actually noticed from the screenshot I showed earlier, has actually been moved to the PvP category. Now, you might ask, why is this? Some of you might not even know that there was categories. So, to explain, previously the PvP was always the intense fighting games, which of course are Tunnel Block, Castle Crusaders, and previously, well, Counterpush. They've always kind of been there. But so the arcade was previously supposed to be simple, easy to play games, which it still is, as you'll see later. But laser tag has been moved to the PvP category. Now, the reason is it's not because, of course, laser tag is easy to play. It's not easy to win, but it's easy to play and it's easy to understand. So a new player could come in and quickly pick up how it works. So it's not a hard game. There's strategy. You can try hard in teams if you want, but it's generally an easy game to play. I'm gonna talk about laser tag for a bit. So laser tag is actually going to be merged with another game I have. Um, Laser tag is actually going to be merged with paintball. Now, paintball is actually, I never said it was going to be a thing, but it will be. So it will be called, the new game will be called laser tag and paintball eventually. Right now, it's still just going to be called laser tag. But the thing is, laser tag and paintball, what's the difference? Well, laser tag is small indoor dark maps, and paintball is outside, large. I mean, they could be the same size depending on the number of players, which I'll talk about later. But laser tag is inside, paintball outside. But the thing is, the game is actually exactly the same. It's still bows that can one-shot people. Um, and of course, you only have half a heart, so you're one hit. And no melee is allowed. So it's the same game, exactly, but just with different style of maps. Um, I might also have some different rule sets for each, so if I'm introducing other modes, like I'm thinking of adding other modes than just, because kind of the mode we have right now is kind of like a deathmatch or team deathmatch is what we have right now, or yeah, deathmatch or team deathmatch is kind of what we have right now. But I am thinking of adding other modes that might only be work for one or the other, so you'll have to wait and see. But eventually, laser tag and paintball will be added or merged into one game. But currently there is no paintball beta, there are no maps for it. I have designs, but I don't have any working maps right now. Anyway, laser tag, I actually updated about a little while ago the current map we have. The current map is, again, we're currently in alpha right now, but we've kind of almost moved to, almost ready to move to beta. And the difference being that alpha is like the first ever build of the game. I mean, that's in dev, but depending on how I see it, alpha is like the first version you really make tiny adjustments, and then beta is when you actually start like developing into a full game. So Tunnel Block never really had an alpha because I didn't need to make one, but for laser tag, I kind of did just to make sure. Because laser tag is, if you remember console laser tag, which some of you probably remember if you ever played with me on the Switch or Bedrock Edition, it was only ever two teams. You always spawned at a certain spot. Well, that changed now, so you can spawn anywhere in the map, or at least there's a set amount of points. Anyway, as for the maps, I will be adding more maps probably within this month. Hopefully by the end of the month I'll have at least 2 maps for each size, one of paintball, one of laser tag. I'm not gonna say for sure, but the plan is, so there are going to be 4 map sizes. There are going to be the mini maps, which go from 2 to 4 players. There are going to be the small maps, which go from 5 to 8. You technically are allowed to play any map with any number of players. Well, no. You can't play on a mini map with 6 players, and you shouldn't play a small map with only 2 players. You shouldn't, but so to give you an idea, the current map we have right now for laser tag is a small. It supports up to 8 players, so yeah, it's recommended for 5 to 8 players to play on there. You can play with 4. 4 is actually fine. In fact, 4 is actually just fine for that, but just to keep the numbers easier to follow, it's 2 to 4, and then 5 to 8 for recommended numbers. And then there will be medium maps, which go from 9 players to 16. And then there will be the large maps, which go from 17 to 24 players. So all my games will cap at 24, but with some exceptions, like Counter Push, which is only 10. And it's fixed 10, it's not 8 to 10 or 8 to 12, it's 10. But some of you already knew that. So that's that. Anyway, enough talk about laser tag. Arcade. So what is arcade being repurposed to, you might ask? Well, I'm going to be adding a lot, not too many, but a lot, at least a couple to start. I'm not going to have this ready tomorrow, or today, actually, because it's on Saturday today. Or today is when you're seeing this. I'm not going to have it ready super fast, but arcade is actually going to be a lot of micro games. So micro games are, well, they're small games, they're like mini games. But the mini games are kind of like the big games, but the mini games, you could say, are just the micro games as I call them. I'm going to be calling them micro games because they're all in arcade. It's going to be, the stuff that you're all used to playing, like Spleef, TNT Run, and all that good stuff. Maybe even some sort of racing game too, but I have some ideas for it. So it's going to be like all small games. They're going to be redstone operated with command blocks, so they're going to be simple, easy to play. So it's an arcade. It's not really like an arcade. It's just called arcade. I don't really think I could add a token system, but maybe? Nah, probably not. But that's an idea. So yeah, arcade will be small micro games, simple, easy to play. It won't be ready soon, but will be ready sometime within this month. So I'm thinking maybe early in the month or mid-month. Let's say 2 or 3 weeks in. Anyway, Tunnel Block. Now, Tunnel Block. Some of you might have seen the news that Tunnel Block, the map is currently deactivated. It's gone to rest. The map is no longer usable, so the game is broke. I'm just kidding. The new map is built. The old map technically doesn't work anymore. To save space, I'm going to be taking out a lot of command blocks that had to do with the old map, but I have to kind of, let's be honest, I did not arrange my command blocks well, okay? Like, they are very, if you were to go in and try to understand everything, you would see that I did not plan very well. So I'm going to be, whenever I make new games, I'm going to have to worry about that. Make sure that command block, I did not really think much about, because I didn't ever think I'd have to do this, but So the map I have right now, or the smaller map you've played on, the big map has been tested. There was actually one big thing we had to change about it when me and the two other testers were on it. I'm not gonna name them, but you know who you are. It doesn't really matter. We found that there was one big issue, but we fixed that, so the one big issue is gone. Other than that, the map is functional. As of right now, I don't have the competitive mode functional on it. I only have the small or like the single round non-competitive mode, but I'll make sure to have it done by next week because next week we're doing competitive tunnel block. Speaking of competitive tunnel block, competitive system, this is going to apply to all games with a competitive mode. Counter Push is going to be probably the biggest game that revolves around the competitive modes. Castle Crusaders, maybe. But Castle Crusaders, I should mention, is probably going to be more of a casual game. Maybe there will be competitive soon, but like there will be competitive. Laser Tag and Paintball, there will eventually be a competitive, but it probably won't be for a while. I want to make sure the game is balanced, and I want to get spit smarter with the redstone first to make sure you're not spawning in random places. Like, I have ideas for the game too, so it shouldn't be. It will be possible, but it will like competitive will eventually come to all PvP games. Maybe even arcade games, but I can't say for sure. But it's a possibility that there could be arcade mode PvP or sorry, arcade mode competitive. It's a possibility. Probably just like limited time. Like if you play Overwatch, you'll understand that some of the arcade modes there have kind of like a limited time, like the Capture the Flag one that just started. So it's kind of like that. Like I would bring like limited time competitive. Um, yeah, competitive mode. I don't really have much to say about it right now. Besides, if you don't know how it works already, um, there's going to be four ranks you're going to be placed into. The lowest rank is going to be marked with an iron block. It's just going to be called normal rank. This will take the bottom 40% of the player base. The next rank is strong, which takes between 40 and 69% of the player base, so the mid 30. Um, so there's 40 below and 20 above. So if you're strong, you're in the middle. You're pretty much the average rank if you're in strong. Strong is marked with gold. And then in the top 30, they're divided into two. Once again, we have elite marked with diamonds. Elite is not the top 10, but it's kind of like it's between strong and the other rank. So there's 10% of players who are above elite, but 70 who are below. So if you are an elite, do not underestimate yourself. You are a good player if you have this rank, and you deserve it. But remember, only 20% of players will have this rank. In the top 10%, we have masters, or masters eventually, but maybe just called master for now. The way I'll be adding ranks, so right now, let's say if there are 12 people, it would be like 5, 4, 2, 3, or something like not like that. I'm not saying anything productive here. Okay, but anyway, so if you're in Master, you are in the top 10%, you are a good player, and you definitely deserve this rank. The way I rank people is basically I take notes of how you're doing as well as actual stats of the game, like including hidden stats that are revealed that I see that are not shown in the results screen. Which, because the results screen only shows basic stats that I think people would actually care about, but there are actually a couple more stats that are tracked that I can't really say because I can't really say how I'll be determining ranks. It's kind of just, well, I can't really say it. Um, but you will have the rank that you definitely deserve and that I think you deserve. Um, if you are placed in normal, the rule is you are not allowed to complain about your rank. If you are placed in normal or strong, then you were there for a reason. Remember, if you're normal or you're in the normal rank, you are with 40% of minus yourself. You're with about 40% of the player base, including yourself. So yeah, you're there for a reason. It's not that you're bad. It's just that some people might be better than you, or you might have not developed. You can rank up, of course. Um, you also might be able to rank down overnight. So if more people in the lower ranks reach higher ranks, you'll get bumped out overnight, and that is possible if you don't play on a competitive day. So you got to be careful about that. If you are in Master or Elite, even, your rank will actually degrade, so you might just fall in, even if no one catches up to you, you might just fall in. However, you can't rank up overnight. So if you're at the top of strong, you will not rank into elite. If someone from elite drops out, there will be more people in strong than normal. So you can't rank up overnight. So you can't go to bed as normal and wake up as strong. It doesn't work that way. It only works the other way around. So you have to play at least one game, and you'll probably, with that one game, unless you do horribly, you'll probably place in the rank that you now deserve because it's directly pegged to the player base and percentages. Alright, last thing to talk about today. I know I've bored you all for 20 minutes already. The last thing I have to talk about today. There will be a second Tunnel Block tournament, and I'm thinking of actually making it a solo tournament. Now, with the new arena, solos are actually going to be a lot more interesting to watch. So I'm thinking of adding a solo tournament. It will be sometime in the end of February, and to make sure everyone can play, we're going to be hosting games like there's going to be like a 2 week period where everyone can play. And in that 2 week period, you'll play games against other teams when you both teams can play. So you'll be playing games at times that work for you and your opponents. So we'll have to work. I'll probably talk individually with each team just to make sure everyone can play, or every person. But it will either be a 1v1, 2v2, probably not a 3v3. But I want someday we will host a 3v3 tournament, maybe even a 4v4 or 5 on 6v6 tournament. Nah, we will see how it works. But someday I'm hoping sometime soon to host a 3-on-3 tournament. Because I think 3-on-3 is the first mode that's like super interesting and requires more strategy to play than any other mode. Anyway, that's all I have to say for today. So thank you all for watching through 22 minutes of me just talking in my share. So that means in about 5 minutes, I think right now we'll be playing some games on the new Tunnel Block Arena. So I hope you all join us for that. Anyway, this is me, and bye everyone.